Alrighty, round three, we have an excellent hand on the play. Two Certain Visions, Spreading Seas, two land. Good to go. And our opponent mulligans to 5, which is also incredibly promising. So, drawing a land is great, especially since it's a red source. It's going to allow us to Saheeli and Hiri. Here, we're just going to cycle Spreading Seas, since we still don't even really know what we want with Certain Visions, and we're happy to just draw a random card at this point. And random card being Spreading Seas is actually pretty good on the play to be able to double Seas. Ghost Quarter is interesting, since if we did want to Spreading Seas it, our opponent could Ghost Quarter their own other land, and we wouldn't even get to draw a card. As it stands, I'm happy just developing a Planeswalker against this board. Seems pretty good. I mean, if we draw Felidar Guardian, that would be grand. Obviously bottom that land, don't really need it. And our opponent Leonin Arbiters and Ghost Quarters, which is actually kind of great for our opponent, since that was our blue source that wasn't Scalding Tarn, and now we're kind of not able to really do anything. So I could have Scalding Tarned this turn and paid 2, searched, and then scryed. But I mean, that might have been the play. The thing is, if I get rid of this Leonin Arbiter, this Scalding Tarn becomes amazing, and we don't have to go through such hoops to activate it. And there's Lightning Bolt, which is the perfect answer to Leonin Arbiter, and now we have up 2 mana against another Ghost Quarter, which would otherwise be incredibly annoying. And our opponent Blade Splicers, which, I mean, also very good in this spot, since it threatens to kill Saheeli if we plus. And I'm pretty much priced into bolting the Arbiter, although actually in retrospect I probably should have bolted the Golem here and paid 2 to search with Scalding Tarn, and then that would have kept my Saheeli around. Although getting rid of the Arbiter is pretty enticing as well. But I could have bolted the Golem, searched up like an island, and then Certain Visions anyways. So I think that play was a bit better than just bolting into the Arbiter, and I sort of had a plan in my mind and stopped to reconsider that my Saheeli was just gonna die now. Although this play does have some benefits as well, like able to cast multiple things this turn. There's Felidar Guardian as well, which makes losing the Saheeli that hurt that much more. Although we are getting to hose our opponent's mana, like if they have Flicker Wisp, it's an absolute blow up if they don't have the double white. But just losing Saheeli is not nice. Not nice. Not nice at all. So Bolt Snapcaster is pretty good to completely clear up this board, and we leave up Bolt in case our opponent wanted to like Resto Angel or something immediately. And just gonna go ahead and bolt and block. Blocking is nice, it clears the board a bit. We weren't really planning on blinking Snapcaster with Felidar Guardian, since we have Spreading Seas anyways. And I didn't see what I topped, but I topped 2 things, and one was a Certain Visions. So it must have been something good. And here I just go ahead and clear the board. If our opponent, like our opponent is playing a weird death and taxes list that's probably just mono white, aka just taxes, which sounds lovely. So we're gonna get rid of that Blade Spicer before it blinks, is able to be blunk, and I mean there's very little that's ever gonna do anything to this Nahiri. And Felidar Guardian is gonna just block the Thalia, and now we'll go ahead and plus our Nahiri. Again, our hand is so stacked. We kept a path on top, and yeah, our opponent just packs it in at this point. I mean, their lands are screwed. We have a good Planeswalker in play, a non-Saheeli Planeswalker in play. So yeah, taxes. So I'm gonna want like our explosives for blowing up golems. Stony Silence would be okay against the Aether Vials, and actually there's usually some fiddly artifacts around, so we probably just want to bring in both, even though they're anti-synergy. Helix, yes. Gideon Jura can be a bit hard to get to at 5 mana if they have a heavy land destruction hand, but probably still just worth it anyways. And then, siding out, obviously the Remands are not going to be good, especially on the draw, and Spreading Seas is not that necessary, especially on the draw, so probably just want to do this. Maybe don't need 2 explosives. Also, Timely would be reasonable against like Blade Spicer. Blade Spicer buys a lot of time, so you could just do like that as well, would also be okay. Maybe even better on the draw, where on the play you could play the explosives. So switching between like that, maybe, I mean, Spreading Seas is reasonable against them, since they're going to have a lot of utility lands, but it's kind of hard to get it off on in the first game. So maybe like that on the draw, and then on the play you could consider having more Spreading Seas on the play, less on the draw. So on the draw, obvious mulligan here to start with, and then easy keep. Don't want that Snapcaster. Much happier to draw like lands to get to our Felidar Guardians. And opponent has turn 1 Aether Vial, so we're going to be in for probably a bit of a rough game. And here, I wanna crack my sack land. I want to play my sack lands before an Arbiter comes into play. I shouldn't have used it immediately there. I think I was planning on Serum Visioning, but then sort of changed my mind in the middle of it to preserve my life total. And again, we aren't exactly sure what we want. Like, lands are fine and spells are fine at this point. And opponent has Thraben Inspector, which makes Stony Silence more appealing as well. And Dread Statuary, which is interesting. Obviously for the Golem first strike synergy with Blade Spicer. There you go. And Wall of Omens is gonna be a nice blocker. Kithian is a bit of a problem. So imagine Engineered Explosives on this board would be fantastic. So we're gonna just start with a wall, see what we draw, and speak of the devil, Engineered Explosives. So opponent also dropped Tectonic Edge, which we need to be a little wary of, although we have good mana already, pretty much. Sarah Avenger cheated into play through Aether Vial. How unfair. So I mean, we still want to explosives. Kithian flips into Gideon Battleforged, but it should still have converted mana cost 1, so we're still wanting to, get rid of that whole jam. And go ahead and pay 2 life so we can keep up Path to Exile. And go ahead and explosives for 1. And here's where we make a huge misplay. We immediately sack the explosives, just not respecting the Aether Vial on 3, which is obviously sheer folly because Flicker Wisp is a card. So how we should have done that is on upkeep, just activated it. That means our opponent would have had to not use Aether Vial on their turn, on our turn, and would have had to keep it up and basically delayed them a whole turn. But this is gonna be painful. I mean, still not the worst engineered explosives, but now we're facing so much baloney at this point that we're kind of in trouble, despite having 2 Wall of Omens. And Wall of Omens attacks Gideon Battleforged if able. That's not happening anytime soon, especially since there's no Gideon Battleforged. So on upkeep, we're gonna path. Wanna keep the Air Force to a minimum, because we can deal with the Ground Force for a bit of time because of our Wall of Omens. And opponent Inspectors, which is going to be able to immediately cycle. And they're getting to the point where their actual utility lands are going to be really good, because Tectonic Edge is amazing against us right now. Dread Statuary is also surprisingly amazing against us right now, since it can punch through walls. And there's Saheeli Rai. So that's our plan, is to combo off. And we obviously want this second white source, because our opponent is going to probably blow up Celestial Colonnade. So kind of the best Serum Visions ever. Gives us hope. Of course, Gideon Battleforged can make our opponent's creatures indestructible, which is going to make Supreme Verdict a lot worse if they play around Wrath as opposed to just attacking with Gideon. We get to leave Remand up as well, which is pretty good. And our opponent is playing around Wrath, which is kind of unfortunate for us considering we have Wrath. We still aren't taking that much damage though. And we're able to remand this Restoration Angel, which is pretty good. And clear the air again, which is also pretty good. And unfortunately, 1 mana short of comboing off. And fairly short of dealing with this board, since our opponent just gave his Golem indestructible. So we just have to sort of Felidar our Guardian and pray. That things go our way someday. So happy to block there. Now, Wrath is kind of back in play if our opponent did something weird that killed our Felidar Guardian and like Restoration Angel during our opponent's turn. Although we would have just been dead to Dread Statuary, Gideon Battleforged. So we have to just combo off and pray. I mean, we have no other play here. And we get Path, which means we're dead. since we know our opponent has Resto in hand. And even with Lightning Helix, we don't have quite enough to survive. So we Helix the Blade Splicer before it makes another 3/3, and yeah, easy kill on us. So we go to game 3 and have a great, excellent hand. On the play, Stony Silence is at a premium on the play. Wall of Omen's going to be great. Bolt's going to be great. So obviously a chance we don't draw lands, which would be sad. But even if we flood out, we have Desolate Lighthouse, and our opponent's mulliganing to 5 again. They sure like doing that for some reason. All right, Thraben Inspector. I mean, we would prefer to Stony Silence Aether Vial, but this is acceptable too. Stony Silencing a clue is just hilarious for whatever reason. Not the interactions you expect to happen. And we just draw land, which is great. So our opponent, Burton Ernie, Forge Tenders, and misses a land drop. So we're like, yeah, gonna win. That's what we're like. Getting real overconfident. So Wall of Omens, drop down. Could have even Saheeli there pretty safely, but Wall is also nice since we're not specifically scrying to get rid of lands or get lands on top, although we do want another land certainly. And now we can just Saheeli, scry, see Serum Visions. I mean, that's fine, so we'll keep it. Good with our Snapcasters, and we don't really care about I mean, our opponent is just doing whatever. So we scry first to see what we're drawing into. Colonnade, sure, not untapped, but a land. And Spreading Seas. So we bottom the Silver Falls, keep the Spreading Seas. We have enough land now. And go ahead and just bolt Thraben Inspector, just to stem the bleeding, and see another Spreading Seas, which we're going to keep since our opponent is on 1 land. And that land is Spreading Seized. So, oh, Path. Okay. Well, at least you get to keep a plains, right? Nope. Spreading Seas. And there's Felidar Guardian to put our opponent out of their misery, finally. And just draw a card first, in case our opponent has Dismember. And Felidar Guardian prompts the concession. So kind of a whatever start from our opponent, but I mean our hand was great. We had this pretty much we had all this the entire game to deal with whatever opponent was planning on doing that game. And yeah.